This is your November 2022 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, then this is your reading. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. It's Romy here. So we're looking into Scorpio season as we come into November, and it's not a month for you to live inside the lines. In fact, I absolutely see you colouring outside of the lines through the course of this month. You need to, in some respects, go all in, live in that colour, just be in a state of perpetual motion this month. I don't want you to be sat for too long trying to make decisions based on the politics around you or the impact that you think it may or may not have. You just have to be trusting in yourself, and you have to be a little bit brave in terms of stretching outside of the comfort zone somewhat. We're going to be welcoming a full moon eclipse in the sign of Taurus, and that Five of Wands suggests to me that around the energy of that full moon, it is going to feel quite intense. There is an opposition between Mercury and Uranus. A lot of information being sent in your direction, and you're going to have to kind of sift and sort through it to figure out what's true and really what's relevant. I think that's the word I want to give you around that full moon. How relevant is this to where I am right now? If you're going to be doing the big things in life, Cancer, then you can't allow yourself to be affected by the small things. And so keep that in mind, because the pettiness, the arguments, the general desire for some people or some situations to try to distract you is going to be quite intense in that first part of November. But you have something bigger. You have something more by way of the vision, by way of what you're feeling into, what you're trying to prioritize. And remember, as we're now working our way into this Mars retrograde transit over the next few weeks, right through to mid-January, there is going to be a refocusing of energy. It's going to help re-energize you in the right areas, okay? And that's really important. So you've got your kind of almost detective outlook, and that's helpful in Scorpio season because it can come at things with this like forensic ability to get to the absolute root. And as you sort of adopt this Sherlock Holmes type approach, you'll find out what you need to. You'll get the information that is pertinent to help you make the right choices and decisions. Now bear in mind, around that full moon eclipse on the 8th of the month, although it's both revelationary in nature, there's also things being concealed. Maybe that's why you're going to be off on a treasure hunt. Again, just make sure you don't get caught up or too obsessed at trying to get to the bottom of something to the detriment of where energy is moving and momentum is building. Okay, this is definitely a month that you're supposed to capitalize on something, because we see the progress and the growth in a certain area of your life really opening up. And part of that's about some of the important conversations that you need to be having. If you're overthinking things and becoming too overly careful about what the next move might be, then it's almost like you're missing some of that serendipitous kind of fated energy of the universe bringing in, the right people at the right time, because you've been quite bold and just said, okay, I'm going to go out my comfort zone here. I'm going to put myself in a situation where, I'm not usually at ease with. Okay, now we have the 1111 portal coming in. Beautiful time through November. This gateway for change really represents an ability to find that sense of oneness within and with a collective energy. It's about bringing in balance through personal power. There's a strong emphasis, of course, around twin flame and karmic connections. Remember, unconditional love, Cancer, is not unconditional tolerance of poor behavior. So we can still be traversing difficult challenges. We can be on a journey with somebody, whether it's romantic or whether it's just at a soul agreement level, and we can understand that people go through different things, but it doesn't mean that you have to sort of be the doormat in that instance. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We're in 5th house energy, of course, in Scorpio season, so there's a firm emphasis for you around your creativity, around romance in your life, around what you're going to be bringing form and life and expression and colour to. Life is changing because you're changing the way that you see it. And we really need you to keep an open heart chakra this month. It reminds me of the the book by Michael Singer, The Untethered Soul. So if you haven't read it, perhaps the time to check it out, or if you have, revisit it for the month of November, because I feel like some of the messages in there about, regardless of what we face, how painful, how challenging, how much it makes us want to shut down, it's in our ability to remain open in the heart space that helps us to create and to allow that personal expansion to happen. Now you've got King of Pentacles coming in, could be an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. But for you, I'm also seeing you surrounded by this energy of yellow, very connected into your solar plexus. So I think you're feeling more confident, you're feeling a little bit more secure than you'd anticipated or expected to be, actually. And it may be for some of you that even as you're looking or observing things around you that might not be mirroring or reflecting the hopes that you had, or the anticipation of where something would be, maybe a relationship, maybe it's figures, maybe it's, just the progress of something. And yet there's a deeper energy that's coming from within you that's saying, do you know what, like everything is okay, and you want to be trusting in that. So where you're feeling that beneath the surface churn and swell, please tap into it. The other thing I want to say to you, Cancer, is don't ask for a seat at the table. Yeah, just go set your own table up and invite who you want. Because I have this sense of like gatekeeping, or people deciding whether you can or cannot be a part of something, or you waiting to be given some sort of validation that gives you a sense of the true worth of maybe you or something you've done or where you're at in regards to relationships. So I feel like we need to take the power back a little bit. And that King of Pentacles, he's got a wealth of experience, a level of maturity and mastery. And one of the things that you're learning, and this is the thing that you need to understand about November, because we're all being shown our spiritual assignments. Now, we have a soul contract for the entirety of our lifetime, but our spiritual assignments can change from season to season. Sometimes we need to play a specific role for somebody else. Sometimes there's things that we are seeing repeatedly by way of themes. So what we're really seeing here is this opportunity for you to know that what you've been through and where you're at right now is demanding that you step up and kind of have the confidence, have the gravitas, have the belief in something. And if you do get stuck, then I want you to ask that best and highest version of yourself, how would they handle this right now? Because they're right there. They're right there with you, waiting for you to listen to that guidance, okay? Now, you may be getting some support. You may be getting some support by way of abundance, or by way of something that can help you feel more secure. Yeah, so the support can come in just giving you extra time, extra resources, extra access to something that's going to enable you to put the focus and make the priority that you're being asked to at a soul level. So when you feel into something, I know I'm supposed to be doing this, there's an urgency, there's a kind of almost a push to want to do something brave here, then the universe is going to bring in the tools and the support that are meant to be part of that kind of storyline that's playing out. So you've got Page of Swords coming through here. With Page of Wands as well, there's an awful lot of news, information, communication. As I said, you've got to disseminate what's relevant, what's the right thing. Mars retrograde in Gemini sometimes can bring in needless, mindless pettiness, gossip, people trying to distract you, people who are not willing or able to kind of harness the growth or take the self-awareness lessons that they're being invited to focus on right now. And so they're going to want to stir things up and cause chaos and try to disconnect people who are. Now, you yourself are standing elevated on this pile of books here. So there's something about the wisdom that's been gained, what you've understood, what you've come to realize. It's like you've been able to immerse yourself in the teaching of something, but you've also been able to kind of really reflect on what that means personally for you. And as you hold this wishing flower and the seeds are getting scattered out into the wind, it's like you making this declaration. You are graduating to a new level. And as you say this out loud to the universe, to yourself and to everyone around you, that kind of declaration that you're making has serious power to it. Now, it doesn't really matter whether people believe it or not. It doesn't even matter whether they're on board with it or not. All I need is for you yourself to feel into the truth of it, because you have to know how worthy you are of it before it really arrives for you. You have to paint that canvas. Yeah. like you're filling in the spaces that you've already created for all of these manifestations to come through. You have great energy through the course of November around anything that you want to be saying, expressing, writing, talking about. So make sure that you harness that, okay? Also is going to be really helpful by way of relationships with the power of that portal energy and your ability to be able to articulate exactly what's on your mind, as long as you can keep your heart open and you don't sink back into resentment or bitterness. These are two words I want you to keep in mind, because for whatever reason they feel like excruciating trigger points at some point through the month. And even if you don't perceive to have those types of emotions kind of present for you, there's something that I feel is going to get activated. And perhaps it's even from the past that comes back and influences something, a situation that's unfolding, and brings those kind of energies up for you. But they're there to be healed. Remember, sometimes on an individual personal level, we have to deal and we have to transmute and clear energies that the collective are dealing with. And each and every one of us, as we do that, then we help to transmute and alchemize that energy for everybody. The Ace of Cups says you have to sink back into that energy of profound self-love, appreciation and respect. And that begins with a deep sense of self-awareness. But I love how the butterflies are just exploding out of this kind of teacup here, this chalice, this beautiful cup. And it's a reminder here that what you have to offer the world, what you have to say, the uniqueness of what your energy is saying right now in terms of everything that you've been through, there's somewhere that it needs to go. Remember, aces are like that raw potential energy and we need to direct it. Now her eyes are closed, so she's using the power of her mind right now to direct that love in all of the ways that it needs to. That might have to start with forgiveness for yourself, perhaps, but also for other people that might have played a part in your storyline or that you're just observing or witnessing around you. Now, there's a beautiful water trine coming in to be very supportive this month with the asteroid goddess energies. We've got Juno, Black Moon Lilith, Vesta, and Pallas Athena all in water signs. Pallas Athena moving into your sign on the 30th of the month. This is bringing a level of empathy, diplomacy, a sensitivity to situations. And remember, they teach us how we use our personal expression. If you want to find out more about the goddess energies, check out my personalized report. The link is in the comment and the description box underneath. But what we're seeing here, especially towards the end of the month for you, is this absolute ability to be able to accept something you never thought you could, to get over something, to draw a line, to find a sense of peace. Perhaps with something that's dogged you for years or that's been a kind of pain point. So there's a tremendous amount of healing coming through for you. And there is something about that on the wider stage. Like we're being given definitely a safe passage through what is quite an intense month with the eclipse energies and that orb of influence that they hold. Sometimes it can feel like the perfect storm, and yet what you've got is a lot of stability, a lot of openness, and a lot of new beginnings coming through here that are rooted in a sense of love. Now, as we come into Sagittarius season, we've got a gorgeous new moon coming on the 23rd, same day that Jupiter goes direct, back already in the sign of Pisces, fellow water energy, again being really conducive to bring in something that's quite bountiful, a really beautiful gift, I feel. Even though it may feel slightly out of reach at that moment, King of Wands is giving you the absolute directive and igniting this inner flame within you to say, keep going, you've got this right. You've not got it wrong. Like, you have to trust in this. And if I'm looking at this theme of kind of colouring outside of the lines, no better ally to help you than the archetype of the King of Wands here, who goes with his gut, speaks with his heart, looks at the big picture, isn't afraid to kind of express things in a really powerful, direct way. And the musicality of that, the new rhythm that is coming into your life is wonderful. Now we've got two kings showing up. So again, I'm being shown that there is this level of mastery coming in for you in November, if you can recognize it within yourself. One of the things you need to be aware of is the people that are repeatedly bringing out that part of you that you're trying to lay to rest, that you're trying to evolve away from, move past. So when they're triggering the versions of you that you know you've outgrown, There's something that you need to be tuning into at that moment and just saying, okay, this is not who I want to be, and therefore I have to reflect and make a decision about who I'm going to be surrounding myself with. Yeah, so there's going to be a little bit of a tough lesson in regards to that through the course of this month. But this is a time of reinvention. Yeah, and as you move into Sagittarius season, 6th house energy, how you're showing up in the world matters. Yeah, so notice the small acts of service around you. Notice the people that are still there, that are recognizing your growth, that are choosing to align with where you're going, not where you've been, and that are demonstrating not through big wild gestures, but those small, consistent, loyal reminders that says, yes, I see you. That's where you want to be. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and pull some final cards for your month ahead. We will cover these off in the extended reading. If you're new to the channel, Cancer, you can find the link for that in the comment and the description box underneath. And it's another 25 minutes where we'll just go into much more depth about the month ahead for you. Now, I'm going to invite you to think about a personal question. Might not have come up in the main spread. We will do a couple of cards specifically on that for you. All the decks I use are also listed in the description box. So we're going to clarify this main reading, see the direction it's going to take us as we go deeper into things. So 5 of Wands coming through with the 10 of Coins. This is a Chakra tarot, which is nice because the border colour gives us an indication of perhaps where we need to activate an energy centre or where they're really supporting you. So you've got some nice solar plexus and heart energy coming in here. 3 of Wands, love that for you. This month, my sacred soul support guided journeys, which complement the soul stories, are focused on spiritual assignments and also self-ghosting and the impact that can have. So I put this together each month to kind of help you work through these themes on your soul journey. Again, you can find the links in the comment and the description box underneath. Nice heart chakra energy coming through here, Empress. Ace of Cups, 7 of Swords, interesting. Page of Coins, pull one more for that. Okay. Getting a real wealth of solar plexus through, so just make sure throughout the month of November you're really tuning in and making sure that's nice and clear. Remember, if you find yourself in situations where you're talking to somebody or around somebody and you feel like they're really pulling, draining on your energy, just the simple gesture of even placing your hands over your solar plexus can just help to block that and protect you a little bit. Okay, so we're just going to pull some oracle cards for you now. So this is my new deck, Life Soul Vision Oracle. Thank you so much for those of you who've invested and are sharing your feedback. It's been amazing to see how much you're resonating and connecting. This has come out at such the right time to help you transition these very energies. So I hope you'll take the time to check out the full deck. You have Spirit Lion, Spiritual Strength, beautiful. We'll go into this in more detail in the next read. Finally, we have Energy and Spirit Oracle. What have we got for Cancer for November? Letting go of urgency. Okay, beautiful. One final thing, in our extended this month, I'm pulling some additional cards to focus specifically on love. So those of you in relationships, those of you in one of these, it's complicated, doesn't really have a label, or perhaps if you're looking for love, we'll pull a card around these areas to give you a little bit of insight into the theme for November as well. If you're joining me there, I look forward to continuing this conversation. Just a heads up, I have also added a card payment as well as PayPal based on your feedback, and just a reminder to scroll down past October's if you're buying this at the beginning of the month, okay? And if not, I'm going to see you next month. Thank you so much for tuning in, Cancer. You take good care. Bye-bye.